What up? What up, dudes? Oh man, dude, I'm so excited for tonight. Welcome everyone tonight on Friday Night Frontline. We got a whole bunch of stuff to go over, and I'm gonna turn one of my settings down. You guys can't hear this, but I'm turning this down for a second. Hold on. There we go. Did you know we finally have the technology? Maybe this has been in the game for a while, but we finally have the technology when I click off the window here. Doesn't mute the game. It's amazing. I wish one of you guys had told me about that, but hello, Wooly, dude. My number one fan. Thank you. Thank you for showing up on time. So I'm gonna kind of waste a few minutes here as I just kind of like shuffle my feet around and I wait for people to show up for the gambling. So we're gonna talk about upcoming news, um, more drama. I know, more drama, and then we're gonna talk about just some random related things to the game, and then we're gonna go into the gambling. And from there, I think we are going to do a little testing with the character. So we're going to be gambling on Andoris today. I'm probably not going to grab Belka, just because I really don't like her. Is that toxic to say that? I really just don't like her. I never liked her when she in GFL1 and she was G28. I hated her then. Hate her now. Anyway, so let's go. What we got here? Hi, Klukers. What you doing? What you looking at there? What you looking at? Oh, motorbikes. Of course you are. Of course you are. So let's talk about the first thing on the agenda here for today is news. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So, as you guys know, I was really hyped about the PNC collab. I've already kind of given it away because I said was really hyped. The PNC collab is coming next week to CN servers. Sorry, I'm also kind of like shifting around and doing something at my desk here. The PNC collab is coming next week to CN servers, and oh god, they just Mika, why they just can't? Ah man. So they showed the character, and it was the fan favorite from Project NeuroCloud. Let me see if I can pull it up here. The fan favorite that everyone knows very well as one of the main characters of the game, Lewis. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so people were a little confused, including myself. So Lewis is from GFL1. The Lewis machine gun is obviously what she's named after. She's from GFL1, but she was like in Project NeuroCloud for like 5 minutes at the very end. And so technically she's in GF or in Project NeuroCloud, but so this is her outfit, right? In NeuroCloud, right? Like the toy maker. I don't know. They had some really kind of. I wasn't really a crazy fan of what they did with her story. They turned her. She was like a doll toy maker or something like that, like Santa's little helper type deal. And then they decided, hey, let's use that as her story. So I don't know, but which had absolutely nothing to do with like anything related to GFL1, which was weird. But anyway, she showed up at the very end of like PNC, kind of before they like stopped developing it and stopped like making content for it. And she was like in one little event, and that was it. It was a fine event. It was, you know, nice and all. It's just kind of like this was the doll, right? Yes, well, yeah, not Priscaria, not Soul, not Croak, not Anna, like none of the big names from PNC. So obviously everyone was like super confused at first and then very angry afterwards because, you know, like everyone's freaking out. They're like, oh my god, this is the collab character. But so everyone's freaking out and raging, and like that's why I had the was it UNRC meme at the beginning of the video there, because like everyone's like, dude, it's so over. The fucking everything's over, dude. The company's collapsing. It's a disaster. It's not actually a disaster. Like very quickly after they released that was the Chinese dev stream, their version of the Balin emergency shelter broadcast, and they very quickly afterwards they like, I don't say retconned it, but like, do they have it here in the notes? But long story short, here we go. There's like there's the original comment if you can read it in Chinese, but the translation comes out to pretty much something along the lines of what's posted here of the dev team fully understands and shares their excitement about the characters, blah blah blah. We will be bringing more characters in the future based on story buildup. So they confirmed pretty much it wasn't like a one-time collab. Um, so that's really cool. Like they're setting the groundwork for more characters to come from PNC. So it wasn't like all doom and gloom. But it just really is one of those things where it's like, why did you guys even present it like that in the first place, man? Like you could have just avoided the whole situation, unless they were just doing it on purpose to get people all riled up. Which I don't know if it's a good idea to rile up your customers like that, but um, yeah. So anyway, they're gonna have more. This is obviously just the beginning, which is actually really really cool because it sounds like from their response because they previewed the story a teeny tiny bit, and judging by the response to the story, um, it's going to be like the first part in an ongoing like storyline about how they're linking up the characters from Project Neural Cloud into the real world, which is a good thing, right? Because that means essentially all of them are on the table. You're not just going to get one, right? Like obviously there's like the fan favorites that are probably going to come very quickly after they're done like setting up the story, but I mean theoretically any of the characters are free game, even the kind of like the lesser off ones that were like popular like Undying. And who else? I mean, obviously you have characters like Eos and stuff. Um, but even some of the other I'm trying to think of who else was like super like mainstream. I mean, obviously you have like characters like Hubble and stuff, which are like very mainstream popular. The only ones I don't think you're gonna see is the guys, obviously, because it's not called Guys Frontline. I don't know if they'll ever even admit that they were in it, but um yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So that's good news, actually. So despite all the doom and gloom, it's actually good news, not bad news. So this is, oh by the way, this is the other outfit they're gonna do for her. This is weird because right, like it's a PNC collab, but this was a one of her outfits in GFL1. So it's like it's weird. It's like, oh yeah, here PNC collab character with the GFL1 outfit. Okay. Um Yeah, Kuro or MDR. So she's another one. She's from GFL1, but yes, she was kind of like had like an actual like more center stage role in PNC. So there's a good chance that we see her along. Dude, I'm having a mind blank. I'd have to get my roster out in front of me. But there's a lot of like really popular characters that they can bring now, which is really awesome. Like I said, I really look forward to it. This was just some more news. Yeah, some more memes. Let's see here. This is if you guys want to look this stuff up, you can later. This is just like Lewis. They're just previewing her animations and whatnot, which is not really anything I want to talk about too much. She's a fire machine gun, so she does fill a very much needed role in the roster right now. Like we literally haven't had any machine guns in forever. I mean, I guess Bat Hilda, right? But like she's a free character as opposed to a like I said, a limited character or returning character even. But yeah, she's a fire machine gun. Has some interesting abilities. We'll have to see how she works out. She obviously is meant to go on the fire team there. And then we got the Jang Yu outfit, which is not out yet technically. We'll see this in another couple weeks. But they're previewing it here. Another PNC specific outfit that they kind of glamored up a little bit. Like this is the original version, right? And then obviously that's because this is the artwork for it, right? From this is actual PNC. This is like her original character artwork. But then they like made like alternate versions of it, which is kind of cool, right? Like a little mix and match accessory system. Like I said, this is to me the best part of GFL2, right? I'm glad they're capitalizing on this as much as possible because there's nobody else in the gacha market that I'm aware of is doing like customizable skins like this. It's like different pieces where you mix and match. That's really cool. Probably very difficult to do and a little restrictive at times, but it's pretty cool. Oh, Yugnar, dude, thank you. Thank you, Yugnar, here to bless me for these polls, man. I'm just Yugnar, I'm sorry, but I'm stalling for a few minutes here while I wait for people to trickle in because I know I forgot to post the video, like preview timeline, whatever it is, announcement. So like people probably thought I canceled which, to be fair, is not a wild assumption considering some of the technical issues I've had in the last month. Oh yeah, and then the other last thing, Springfield's getting a new outfit here. This is the Maid Cafe whatever outfit. Um this one is not a paid for skin. This one I believe comes from some achievement system of some kind or collection system. But yeah, that's kind of cool. So another you can I'm excited for it just because she won't be wearing those goofy ass pants that she wears in her actual like normal combat outfit. Because I still have no idea what's going on with that outfit. So that was part one of the discussion. So that was a preview on what's coming up. Listen, Jane Yu's next character, really excited for her. She's looking to be a pretty solid pick. They kind of like released the rest of her skill layout and like how it works, and I kind of got to see a little bit of it in action through spying through Billy. And dude, she is a monster when it comes to shredding stability on bosses. Um, I'm really, really excited to see her in action and test her out. If you play her correctly, she can do some pretty crazy amount of stability shred, which is what the electric team really wants to do because they do like I don't want to call it super break damage, but that's essentially what it is, right? Like once the stability on the enemy is gone, they do bonus damage to the enemy. So I'm really excited for that. Yeah, it's an improvement, even if it's not the classic Springfield outfit. Yeah, the classic Springfield outfit is also kind of boring in my opinion. They could have. It's it. We've talked about this. It's like, what do you want to do? You don't want to change a character too much because people get upset. They kind of want it to be reminiscent of the original. Like for example, like AN94 and AK15 are almost like carbon copies of their GFL1 versions, just because like when you get it right, you get it right. And so they didn't want to. I understand that they don't want to change the character's iconic like outfits too much. They want people to like recognize them. So that's why Centurici is very, very similar to her original version, I think. But okay, so that was the upcoming news that we're going to be talking about for the next month. These are probably going to come to our server within the next month. Obviously, some of these things are a little further away. But that one's pretty quick. But let's stall a little bit more, and I'm going to talk about. So this was something we talked about a couple weeks ago. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Um, can I hide it behind? Yeah, let's get rid of this one. All right, so this was something. Let me see if I can pull it up for myself. There we go, so I can read it. So when we were talking about this the other month, a couple weeks ago, when they had a little offline meeting, right, where they invited players to like the Mika team headquarters, and this was during the Clukini drama disaster, and I didn't even realize that this was floating out there, but this is apparently a segment of the question and answer that it wasn't leaked, but it was allowed to be like shown outside of the company. But this is apparently question and answer with some of the devs, right? And some of it's pretty standard questions. I'm not going to go over this entire thing because it's pretty long. But we'll kind of start here. I'm going to skip around a little bit. There's a couple that I really wanted to talk about because I thought they were like incredibly interesting. Um, yeah, this is just talking about more of the outfit stuff. Them explaining like, yeah, these were the changes that were discussed, right? Like you'll be able to just buy the outfit directly for some of the purple outfits, like Andoris's, and this is an interesting. Will old outfits get dorm interactions? No. So Macchiatos is the only one that's going to get like a retroactive dorm interaction. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing skins. They're not going to go back and add them later on, kind of like they did like for like Klukai's like her police outfit skin, like how they retroactively added customizable parts to it. They're not going to be doing that. So keep that in mind. What else? Blah blah blah. That's just them talking about that crew deck. Talking about how they're still working on it. They're gonna make improvements to it, which we said this doesn't really mean anything to us because we haven't gotten to experience crew deck. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these were implemented by the time we got it, which should be in the next couple months. this is kind of interesting. This is just an interesting question from the quote big plan, right? So the question was the crew deck, which is the big dorm system. The main gameplay feels disconnected because it does, right? It has absolutely nothing to do with the actual part of the game, which is a turn-based combat mode. But they're saying that the plan is to introduce kind of like an ecosystem, right? I hate to use that word because it's such a buzzword, but it's going to be like different aspects of the game, right? And they want combat to be one aspect / story, and then they want the dorm to be like its own part of it. So it's like kind of like this loop, right? Like this: do events, get immersed in the story, play the game, enjoy the combat system or lack of combat, depending on your opinion of it, and then interact with the characters and get like immersed in the setting, I guess is probably the best way to describe it. So it's cool, right? Because it's like they're trying to make this game like an all-encompassing like setting, I guess is the best way to put it, right? They're not just being like, okay, here is the first person shooter, or here is the turn-based combat system, or here is the whatever, I don't know, open world version of the game. It doesn't matter. They're not just picking one particular aspect and then being like, okay, here's a game based around that. They're trying to wrap the entire setting up in a way that gets delivered to the player. So for this game, for example, it's going to be like they get to know get to know the characters, the story, like the ongoing like main narrative between which I'm assuming has to do with like the political thriller drama of spy versus spy and all the corporations and all that nonsense. And then the third aspect is the gameplay. So I thought that was really interesting. So they have kind of like a big plan for the game overall. And then they just comment a little more saying that like some of these things aren't very fleshed out. Like that was kind of the point of the oath system, was going to be supposed to be one of those like, here's a system that helps you interact with the characters and like gets you familiar with the characters. Other games do this in other ways, but like this is how this game does it. And they admitted, they're like, okay, it's not very good. They need to work on it. So I hope Paul says, I hope they add seasonal decorations to it. You're talking about Big Dorm? Yeah, yeah, seasonal is in like Christmas and stuff. Absolutely. I just don't want them to be available seasonal, right? Like I don't want the Halloween decorations to only be available in October, and if you didn't gotcha hard enough or you took a break from the game, you can't get them. That I do not want. But other than that, yeah, I agree with you, Paul. Can I link the Twitter post? Yeah, I can absolutely link the Twitter post. Let me put that in the chat here. That should be a link to the post right there. But yeah, this is it said if you want to scan over it in your own free time. There's a couple more I wanted to talk about specifically. Yeah, they're talking about more stuff for the crew deck here. There's going to be like more like equipment and resource gathering. They have a lot more space to work with. They talked about these are nothing too crazy. Interactions and like random stuff. Okay, this is the one that I really wanted to talk about. This is a very interesting question here, and it got an even more interesting answer. This is why I want to talk about it. So the question is, some players complain that the game is too easy and there's nothing to do, while others complain that the game is too difficult and they can't beat it. How do you plan to imbalance the difficulty, and is anime strategy games not welcome? I'm not really sure. This is obviously kind of lost in translation. I think this is just me guessing here. I think this is saying, are these type of anime games where you have to think not welcome, right? Like are anime games only supposed to be about gacha and collection and like very easy difficulty? I think that's what he's asking. Don't quote me on that. But they got a very interesting answer, which, normally devs kind of like hand wave these type of answers, but they gave like a straight and direct answer. Anime is kind of a cultural symbol, and it doesn't conflict with the gameplay. The reason of releasing wheelchair characters like AK-15 and previously Klukai, is to take care of casual players or players that only want to appreciate it as an electric bonsai. And then game modes with hard difficulties, such as EX mode and 40-star difficulty frenzy modes, are for hardcore players. Although it's not easy to balance them, the choice is kind of up to the players, kind of about how they want to engage it. I'm assuming when they mean it's not easy to balance them, they mean as far as like balancing like every week to week, like which is a fair level of difficulty, because once again, it has a lot to do with the characters you have. So yes, this is exactly Yagnar, dude. The wheelchair characters is the way it's been described, and it is such an accurate. So we've talked about this too, how like Kukai essentially ruined the balance of the game, like at segment 6, and now AK-15 is doing it again, but to an even worse level. And it's weird because you first kind of look and you're like, what were they thinking? And the answer is this is exactly what they were thinking. They're like, let's give players OP as crap characters to just destroy the content on purpose. Like these are not accidents, right? Like these aren't like, oh man, they messed up the balancing so bad. How did they make the multipliers 4 times everybody else's? Like, no, these were planned, which is crazy to me. Yeah, it's just so it's a good thing and a bad thing, and it's also interesting that they talk to it as an electric bonsai plant. Um, the reason, so this is referring to, so anyone who doesn't know what a bonsai tree is, a bonsai tree is like one of those little teeny tiny trees that like sit in like the like plate sized dish, and they only get to be about the size of like, I don't know, like a gallon of milk or something like that. They don't get very big, but they're very, very temperamental plants, and they require you to water them very specifically, very delicately, and they're just a very delicate plant, but they live for like 100+ years, the trees, these little trees. And so it's like a very popular like hobby in Asian countries, specifically I believe Japan. They have like these bonsai trees that you just meticulously take care of over a very long period of time. And like I said, it's just like a gardening thing, but they're, like I said, they're very much known for a very, very slow growing, and like just, you just kind of appreciate it. You just kind of appreciate the plant. And I think the analogy they're trying to use there is that casual players like games where they can just get these quote wheelchair characters and then log into their account, and then over time slowly develop the account, right? Like, accumulate more characters, accumulate weapons, things like basic info cores that you need to upgrade your units. And you just slowly over time grow your account, and it gets more powerful, right? And to be honest, we've seen that kind of where we're at right now. Like, for example, if you've been playing since day one, you, like me, probably have a pretty fleshed out roster. You probably have either an entire fire team worth of characters or an entire like hydro team. Or you saved up for segment 6 cluckers, and you got a segment 6 Klukai that just demolishes everything. And so that's what I think that they're referring to, is like some people really get enjoyment out of the slow and steady growth process of their account over time, which I know my boy Yugnar can attest to in the chat, because he does that in other games. No, I know, I've seen his roster. I've seen his ridiculous roster. Oh, Yugnar, who's the wheelchair character? So AK-15 is not out in the game yet. Let me see if I can actually scroll up here in the CN new. AK-15 is the one that they lovingly call Mommy Gorilla. Let's see if I can find her. Oh, so far back. So far back. How many characters have we had since her? Only like 2. Here we go. We want the, oop, have the browser. Oh, I gotta hide the browser. Here, this is AK-15. She got like a big mech suit in this version of the game. So she was just like very big, strong military. Oh, that's not her, but big, strong military esque. Is there another better version of that? Unless this is all just the Clukini stuff. Yeah, my Discord's dying now. Yeah, here we go. Not really, actually. This is just her costume. Anyway, all you need to know is that she was like a no nonsense character. There we go. This is more accurate. Um, she's a very no nonsense character. She's actually her and AN94. I feel like are kind of like some of the best design characters for the setting in that they accomplish exactly, I think, what the setting wants to, right? Which is like tactical military esque waifus with guns, especially iconic guns, right? Like she's using the AK-15, which is just the modern version of the AK-47. So very, as I said, that's why I think their designs didn't change at all, right? Her design is like exactly the same as it was in GFL1. Um, yeah, very, very much no cutesy waifu stuff going on here. Um, anyway, let's get back to the Q&A real quick. We're almost done. And then we'll go gambling. Oh, dude, I'm so excited to gamble. But yeah, so anyway, that was it was interesting. They talk about stat weighting changes in the future. Probably not going to happen. And that's, to be honest, that's fine. Playing other games where you have way too many like quote worthless stats is frustrating. It's fine that they're going to just focus mostly on attack, and crit. It makes gearing your characters out really simple, and it's just simpler on your brain too. And then here's another question about AK-15 being way too overtuned. And then here we go, another another time they reference it. Releasing wheelchair characters is mainly to give casual players an easier time. From a story perspective, AK-15's turn strength is justified, which they are exactly correct. She is, even in GFL1, she was supposedly the most advanced android of her time. Like she was supposed to be like literally the top secret, like developed, Terminator. But we've noted your concerns and we plan to adjust characters for actual battle performance that's more balanced. So this is interesting because I don't know if that means going forward everyone's going to be on AK-15's level, or if they just aren't going to make another AK-15/Klukai going forward. That we have no idea, but that's interesting. So once again, I just found it a really cool takeaway that these were not accidents, right? Like, and we complain about giftability or like not having a lot to do in the game, and it's become a hot topic because people like poor Wooly here have nothing to do in game. The story is like kind of not really going anywhere as far as the main story. By the way, Wooly, I did the current story for Belka. It's total filler. You can totally skip it. Big sorry on that, but come back next month when we get whatever the big major event with Lava is called. But it's yeah, it's just it's interesting. So yeah, it's like we don't have content that's difficult. There's going to be more coming in the future, and they have previewed it on the CN side, and not previewed it. They've actually have it implemented. But right now, we're kind of like twiddling our thumbs, and that's why it's like interesting to see these like broken characters make things even easier. But these were calculated decisions, supposedly. So we just gotta trust in the world. So and to be fair, it's not a bad thing. I know we complain about it because it's disappointing in some regards, and it makes the game kind of boring. But to be honest, after playing, like for example, this last week in Star Rail, we were doing the most recent their version of expansion drills, and oh my god, it was so ridiculously like difficult for the average player. They've like really been taking the power creep in that game to a different level, like as far as the enemies getting stronger and stronger. And it's becoming not fun, right? It's becoming a chore to do the end game modes in that game. And it's like you at least don't have that problem in GFL2. It's the opposite problem where it's like it's too easy and so it's kind of boring. So there's got to be a nice balance in the middle, but you don't want to make it so difficult that people like get frustrated and quit the game. It's a very delicate balance. Do Yagnar says progressing your account is very satisfying, but it gets old the more gotchas you play. Some of these other gotchas, other than my main games, I could skip months of the grind to that are needed to enjoy just playing the game. It, that is so true because a lot of people who play gotchas play multiple gotchas, right? And it's like there's never enough content in one gotcha to completely satisfy a player. It's weird too because gotchas like even though they have these like really fast release schedules with characters constantly every like 3 weeks, it's funny because it's like a lot of it is like it's kind of like candy in that it's sweet but doesn't fill you up, right? Like there's all these characters and all these like little mini events and stuff, but there's no substance to them. You consume them very quickly, you walk away, you're satisfied, the end. Um and it's like because of that people end up playing like multiple gotchas at a time. I'm guilty of it. Um yeah, I don't know. Well, he says my Arknights account is a digital bonsai at this point. I've lost all interest beyond the next main story chapter, and then I will be uninstalling after I read it. Yeah, I mean that is unfortunately it's just really hard to keep people interested long term. I don't have the answer, unfortunately. Just I don't know. Yeah, Molly says I don't know if GFL2 will ever be fun to play for me. I was hoping for XCOM with waifus or raifus, but instead I got a harem collection game. That is definitely where we're at right now. Let me just pile through. I think there was like one more little thing I want to touch on real quick, and then we're gonna get into gambling. They're just talking here about new original characters versus characters that are transplants from the first game, and they just essentially say like it's hard to just implement a brand new character and get you to like them. So it takes a lot of like story building and a lot of like dev time essentially to make you like a new character from scratch versus just importing a character that people already like. And he is 100% right because every single freaking time they have a popularity contest of any kind, it's always the same units from GFL1, specifically Clucker's in the background here. I don't know, can you see her? I don't know if you can see her in the background, but specifically she's always number one favorite every single time. So it's like, and to be honest, the new characters, while people like them, they don't get the same traction. They talk here. It's like my favorite character is very niche, and I'm scared that they're never going to show up due to unpopularity. This is kind of cool. They talked about the drone room, which is one of the things inside the big dorm. There's going to be things for like support echelons and fire support echelons, which for people who play GFL1 makes me think of heavy ordnance crews. Interesting. I'm really interested to see what they do with this. I hope it's not a disaster. But anyway, it's going to let ideally these units that are not going to get a full release. So maybe they'll get some artwork, some sprites, and like maybe like some background roles, but they might not make a full appearance in the game. But that's cool. It's like, maybe there's still some hope. Probably like a Dandelion-esque character who kind of just lurks and makes a wisecrack every now and then just goes back to hiding inside the diner gate. Okay, here's the other one that I really want to talk about. Grows is too weak and can't be fielded. Any considerations for giving standard rarity dolls, specifically I'm guessing the Elmo crew, a chance to be promoted so that they stand a chance against the 5-star or elite dolls? And yes, there will be such opportunities. Battle performance, skill numbers, and forms, don't know what this means, will be improved, making them stronger within their own niche. But this kind of chance should appear at the appropriate time in the story, so it doesn't feel abrupt, which is fine. So there is another silver lining or light on the horizon that the original Elmo crew is going to get upgraded in the future. Now, once again, we have no idea whether this will be like a separate 5-star version of the character or if it'll be like some sort of upgrade system. Who knows? But the point is, your favorite character will not be completely forsaken. And to be honest, they have a really good track record. They did this in GFL1 and in Project NeuroCloud. Both of them got upgrade systems or alternate versions of characters in those games. And then this is just talking about more game balance, specifically towards a couple game modes we don't have, so we can skip that. I think that was the last big thing. They talk here about melee units. They're talking about the only sword units are Krolik and Ulrid. Why are there so few? They pretty much say they're only going to release one blade unit a year, and that they're all going to be original characters. They don't expand on this, but I feel like was it maybe in this question here? Yeah, here we go. They big long words, but they're asking about the balance for melee units, and they pretty much say the positioning in melee of being a pure melee character is very awkward right now, so they're trying to figure out what to do. So the answer is look forward to the answer. They don't really know what they're going to do for sword characters. Think about giving them unique mechanics. I hope they think of something. So, and then yeah, this is just some closing notes. So, and then here's a meme. Okay, we covered it. Wow, that was a lot. That was a lot of talking. Oh my god, we talked for 30 minutes. Jesus freaking Christ. I am Sir Yaps a lot. Whew. It's time to gamble, guys, dude. That's anyway, that was a lot of news. So the takeaway for me from that was things are looking good going forward. It's not all doom and gloom, despite the opening of this stream with the it's all over doom posting. Things are not collapsing. Things are going to get better in the future, which is fantastic to hear. So just hold on to your butts. Wooly, if it makes you feel any better, by the way, when I was doing more spying on Billy and stuff, I like bumped into some of the future events and whatnot, like related to the main story. The one for AN94/AK15, people are like uniformly in agreement that both of those stories are fan freaking tastic. And people are actually kind of thinking that the next story is going to be ass just because those ones were so good. And it's like, well, there's no way they could make 2 or 3 stories that are that good in a row. So there is hope, Wooly. Just hang in there and, just think about it. Oh, look who decided. Hi, Scooper. Look who decided to show up 39 minutes late for the stream. You here to help me gamble? What if I told you I already gambled because you're so late? I would be lying because I waited. This is exactly why I procrastinated and I stalled for this long. Because we're gonna gamble right now. Not you. Get out of here. Okay, so we have Andoris. For anyone who's watching this in the future, I don't know what I was going to say, but I deserve to lose the 50-50, and I actually deserve to lose and go to hard pity. But to counter out the fact that I can't keep getting away with it, as they say, I brought in my 2 good luck charms, and I'm hoping that they somehow let me break through the statistical averages. So we're grabbing Andoris, who, if you didn't know, is going to be a very, very important part of the electrical team going forward. And to be honest, it's just nice to have a bulwark. So let's start with gambling with her. We're going to try and grab her weapon after that. And then I even got enough for, I don't know if this is a 50-50. I think this is a guarantee. Let me just check real quick. Then I guess we're grabbing a Tololo. Yeah, okay, this is a guarantee. So we're going to grab ourselves a segment 3 Tololo. But let's see if we can get this Andoris here in like 10 pulls. Okay. Well, we didn't get it on the first 10 pull. For those of you who were wondering, by the way, even with the Jiangyu rework, I don't think Andoris is going anywhere. Ooh. Oh, that's the normal version. I thought I said skip. Um, she doesn't look like she's getting replaced by Jingyu. So this seems like they're gonna. It seems like it's kind of weird because it's like a 3 support core almost, right? It's gonna be Andoris, Jingyu, and Lena, and then you're gonna have someone like Leva being like the big Unga Bunga damage dealer. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I have to do some testing. I can't just say that because we don't have access to all those characters. But either way, I've been looking forward to Andoris for a very long time because, as they were saying about making it difficult for people to like new characters, well, I really like Andoris. I think she's very nice. She's just like kind of boring and nice. You know, it's kind of refreshing in a game with so many goofy, wacky characters. Sometimes it's nice to just have someone who just acts normal. Oh, 30 in, boys. 30 in. Now, this is, I believe, not guaranteed. In fact, I'm like 99% sure it's not guaranteed. Get out of here, Colfing. I hate it when the 4 stars, jump scare you. Oh my god, he can't keep getting away with it. Oh, he can't keep getting away with it. He can't. It's not fair. It's not fair. There are starving free to play players out there who have no characters. They're starving to death. Oh. Not fair. Okay, so that was 30 with a double 4-star on there just to really rub it in. Jesus, was that a guarantee? I have to double check now. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. No, it was not. Oh my god. And then Niketa last time was at 40, right? Or see, so it was 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 41 for Niketa. Jesus fucking, he can't keep getting away with it. Oh my god. I'm tempted to stop the stream right there because it's like now I know we're gonna go to hard pity on this weapon, which is totally fine. I think this is also not guaranteed. Yeah, brand new pity. But jeez, Christ, you guys, dude, paid shill, dude, secret employee, rigged account. Oh my god! So the real reason I'm oh, there it is right there. This is the real reason I wanted to roll on this banner was because of the G36 KSK. This is such a cool version of the gun. But you know what? We did so good on that. It's like I can't not gamble. This is actually a pretty solid weapon, by the way. For those of you who don't really know what it does, it's another one of those weapons that boosts the whole team's damage, which is always helpful, especially on a character who's probably always going to be on the team. Like she's always going to be a support role. So this is just like a free damage boost to the whole team. And there's a little bit of HP healing in there, which is nice. I don't know if she really needs it unless you're experiencing some very, very difficult and hard-hitting bosses. This last part is kind of whatever. And then this is okay too. This is a unique trait, but it's all right. It's not bad. More damage reduction. So we're gonna just casually throw some at this and get this. No biggie. I don't know what to say anymore, guys. Like it's just like we've Like I said, I'm just kind of speechless. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, but he is not taken away. He's only giving. This is, like I said, this is my paid sponsorship for being so nice to the devs and always, always backing them up on all the sometimes bad decisions they make. So that was like what, 30 or 40? I don't know. At this point, I don't even care. At this point, we're so far ahead. If I just keep doing this for another 2 or 3 months, I think I might be on par to save up for that segment 6 character we were discussing. The one that I'm like, let's maybe do it. Nah, just kidding, can't do it. Well, maybe it's possible again. Ferrari himself has seen this account. The gotcha lords have been very generous. All right, let's see. Do we get the weapon, or are we going to get my 27th Planeta? I can't even clap. I can't even clap. It's just. I mean, was anyone even expecting? Was just. At this point, I'm expecting the double 5 stars to start showing up, like casually, just double 5 stars on every pull. Well, the rich get richer. Cool, awesome. More. Dude, I don't know what to say. I am in shock. I do know we have to change the background though because we got a new character. And what did they? I always think they shove her at the end, but they put her at the beginning, don't they? Oh, that's right. Because this is technically the order that they were released in. This is such a cool background. Way better than some of the other ones. Yes, Scooper. That was a big W. That was like the capital mega bolded font W. I was gonna shower real quick. Something you wouldn't know about. Okay, where's the? How do I ban user? Remove user. Put user in timeout. Yeah, that the one I want to click. Okay, hide user on this channel. There we go. Pull. No. Okay. Hey, Chada showed up. What up, dude? How's it going? Yeah, we were just we've been having a time today, man. Oh no, you lost your 50-50 to Mosin? Oh, hopefully it wasn't that deep though. Hopefully you didn't have to like go like hard pity. Hopefully it was like right after that. So let's gear her out super quick. And let's do some testing because there's a couple things I wanted to test about her. So let's give her weapon. Yeah, I know. These little things, I know you can disable them, but I still, we'll just leave it. We're not gonna do anything fancy. So there's a couple questions I personally want to know about for her kit. Let's just steal good old phase strike. Can never. Oh wait, we need the muzzle first. Do we have any? No, I said get out of here. Do we have a one? Sure, this looks completely average. Doesn't really matter too much for her. She doesn't have anything specific about what she needs. We're just gonna give her whatever I got laying around here. Face strike. We don't want defense boost though. That's gross. I mean, she could use it, but it's kind of gross. Sure, let's do that. Defense is my least favorite stat by far, but I guess I don't have a choice. We're gonna just grab that one. And what else we got? Oh, perfect. There we go. Got some slaps, some stuff on it. And then we got to level her up real quick. Chada's like, you know what's so meta about Andoris? Her animations in the refitting room. Dude, she is just a very well designed character. It was weird because when they first previewed her and they showed her off with this gun, so this gun in real life is very similar to. So there's the original G36, which obviously Centrisi uses. Then there's the oh no, I didn't. No. I want to. Can't I merge this? Or no, there's a way to make these. There's no way I'm out of the very little one. Hold up, guys. I'm trying to tell a story about the G36 rifle. That's not the lowest. Where is it? Items? Crafting? What? Is that the lowest tier of them and I'm out? How is this possible? What could I have spent them on, guys? I think my account is leaking somehow. All my basic crafting materials. Because don't you even get these from the dispatch income? No, not this. Where's the shop there? No, I guess it's only the other two. Okay, maybe I actually am. I don't know. Whatever. Let's just get some. Game, tell me how many I need. Do the math for me. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There you are. There you are. It's only a matter of time before I had to do this eventually. Just do all of them. Hopefully that's enough. Hopefully I don't have to dip further in. I don't remember using them for anything crafting, Paul, but I probably did. I don't pay attention to the small things in life. I only worry about the big things, which are info cores. If it's not an info core, I don't keep track of it. But back to what I was saying. So, God fucking damn it. Okay, I mean we have the technology. So the G36 is being used by Centrisi. That's her rifle that has been since GFL1. But in GFL1, there was also the G36C, which is like the, I don't want to call it a submachine gun, but it's like the short barrel version of the gun. And that is used by a totally different character than Andoris. And so when they made Andoris for this game and they gave her this version of the gun, which is very simple, it's like an in between, right? It's like it goes G36, G36K, G36C, and each time the barrel gets a little bit shorter. So it's like she's like the in between, but I'm like, this is so similar to the G36C. I'm like, why didn't they just reuse that character? But and then in addition to that, she looks very similar to a character in Project Neurocloud called DeLacy. And it was like weird. It was like it's like they wanted to port over DeLacy from GFL or from Project Neurocloud, but they also wanted an iconic gun from GFL1. Yeah, see for compact, or I can't remember what they carbine. I think it's for carbine. Actually, it's essentially the same thing. It's weird too because like the Germans have different abbreviations. Like the K in the G36K stands for Kurz, which is short, which is why the Car 98K is the shorter barreled version of the Car 98. I can't remember. It gets very confusing. There's so many guns out there. It's hard to keep them all memorized. But yeah. Anyway, G36C is like the submachine gun style version of this weapon. But anyway, they made this character, and I'm like, man, they kind of knocked it out of the park. I'm gonna be real. Okay, so that was all the leveling done. See the animations. Who were you saying, Chada? Which animation's your favorite? The nice little hair flick, or is there usually there's one if they're like facing the wrong way? There's always like a specific spot you gotta click to activate it, but whatever. What's the meta on the dorm or the refitting Romana reactions here? Nope. It's not. I'm not clicking just the right object. It's usually whatever, like a grenade or an accessory. Hand, maybe? Is it an elbow? Oh, whatever. You know it when you see it. Well, I'm not gonna goon on stream here, so we'll have to come back to that. What else we got to do? I got to do neural helix real quick. Just keep clicking in the refitting room. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Jesus Christ, how did I not know which one you're talking about? Yeah, you're talking about the hug. Okay, yeah. I had a moment there. My mind was not in the gutter enough. Oops, I'm just clicking and I'm unlocking things, but that's fine. Because that's actually one of the ones I want. In fact, I'm gonna get all of them for her because her common key is not anything special because it really is only used on her. And like I mean, I guess you could use it on Xiaomi if you were really desperate for defense, but the rest of it does nothing. But I want the stat boost on her, the 12% here. And we have enough cores because they gave us a double event going on. So the ones you definitely want, from what I can tell, is this one, so you can drop both turrets on the first turn. And then the other one's kind of up in the air, but there's one that seemed better than all the rest. Let's see. Target that's an extra fixed damage. This is only for her, right? Yeah, this is only her because this is her fixed key. So this doesn't really do anything because she does little tiny insignificant damage. This one is good, obviously, for fun smoke. This one is okay if you're having trouble keeping people alive, but I don't think so. Like, it's good because it gives you shelter if two people with positive charge end next to each other, which I'll talk about positive charge here in a second for anyone who's kind of not familiar with how it works. It's not super important because she's going to be tanking most of the hits. Yeah, I guess this actually isn't the worst. Yeah, we'll just do that. So there's some min-maxy stuff I think you could do with some of these. So I don't want to say it because I'm going to jinx it, but I feel like I'm going to make a guide on this character. I haven't made a guide in like literally 6 months, but I think I'm going to do a guide for this and for the like mechanic of positive negative charge. And why is her attack power so low? What am I forgetting to do? I need to equip her keys. That might help. But I'm gonna try and not go over everything here because we're gonna talk about it again in the guide. I promise, bros. Sure. Do we have some kind of crappy? They're like an attack. Ooh, that's a good one. We don't want to use that on her. Nope, that's for healing. Here's another attack and defense one. And sure, we have another. Yeah, look at that. Boom. Attack, defense everywhere. Cool. Still feel like her attack is incredibly low, as if I'm forgetting something. I did level the weapon. I did put attachments on it. Although the attachments are kind of ass. Maybe that's so low. Oh well, doesn't matter. It's good enough to test with. So that's we know there's lots of events and stuff going on right now. Let's go to good old targeting dummy here, which this is not exactly one I want to test, but we're gonna get I'll do a quick rundown on how the character works. Maybe you guys can point out some stuff I don't know. Oop, Niketa, sorry. This is an electric target. Where did you go, Andoris? I guess we'll throw Mosin on there. Actually, no, because we have no reason to test with her. So, her 3 abilities do this. The first one summons turrets and uses confectants to do it. She can continuously spam this. So, for example, we can do 1 turret and then keep casting as long as we have enough confectants, so we can do another turret right away. Let's rewind. Her second ability here is just a target. This is kind of like a filler ability when you have nothing better to do. You just literally target something. It doesn't do anything special, just a little bit of damage, but it does apply this buff, which lets you heal off of it, which is interesting. This is kind of part of the way she keeps herself alive. She's labeled as a bulwark, but she actually does a pretty significant amount of healing between, like, for herself and for her teammates, because this is a debuff that goes on the enemy. And I just said we don't need Mosin, but now I'm regretting saying that, because I want to test it. And I guess I could have literally used anybody, but... All right, so that's her second skill. She targets something, she shoots it. Oh, let's slow this down a bit. And it heals her, and then the debuff stays on the target. So now when anyone hits this target, they should heal. So if we just do... I don't even know if you need to do specifically electric damage. Let's check her. Did it say specifically electric? Yeah, okay. So it does have to specifically be an electric attack. So for Mosin there, we did actually have to do this to turn this into an electric attack. And so we should see a healing number pop up on her. We did. 124 there. So that's kind of some of the way. So that's another reason I want to kind of use her in an all electric team if possible, because that's kind of how she heals everybody. Let's rewind to turn 1 here. And her alt gives everyone shelter, gives herself a bunch of stability, but mostly it applies positive charge. The easiest way I can explain how this mechanic system works is positive charge is for your guys, negative charge is for their guys. You put positive charge on your guys as a buff. Andoris does it, and soon Jengyu will do it. I can't remember off the top of my head if Lena does it. I don't think she does. But Andoris gives your team positive charge. And Jengyu will, with her alt as well, give your team positive charge. And positive charge, just if you end next to your teammates with positive charge, you get some healing, blah, blah, blah. But most you're going to do more damage, and it's going to trigger other abilities that have to do with this positive negative charge system. So, for example, at the bottom here, when you attack an enemy with negative charge, you're going to do some extra damage. So you want to keep this buff up 100% of the time, if possible, on your units. And, you know, if you need some extra healing and some extra, like, depending on who the character is, some other mechanics are going to want to keep them relatively grouped up. So positive charge, important, very important, which is great because Andoris applies that to the whole team for 3 turns when she uses her alt. Now, the alt's only on a 2-turn cooldown, so that means, in theory, you should have this up 100% of the time. Next. So then the next question is, how do we apply negative charge? So negative charge is applied, or it's a debuff you put on enemies, and it is applied currently by Andoris, and it's applied by Belka, but it's kind of like you don't really need Belka to do it. Like, Belka applies negative charge, but to be honest, Andoris just also spews it out everywhere. So you don't need both of them. You kind of only need one. And since Andoris is also doing positive charge, Belka doesn't. Like, that's why Andoris kind of, like, in my opinion, isn't going anywhere, because Andoris does positive charge with her alt, and she does negative charge with these little turrets here. The turrets when they shoot. So when you summon the turrets, let's do it. You can summon as many as you got confectants for, which is why we run that key to have 6 at the start. So on the very first turn, you can start with 2 of them. When she ends her turn, they're both going to take an action by applying negative charge, shooting somebody. So we can take a look at their actions. At the end of the action, which is referring to Andoris's, applies negative charge to 2 enemy units, which there's not 2, there's only this guy. And then they're also going to do their just basic attack here. which also applies negative charge. So in theory, you could apply negative charge to 3 different enemies, in theory. But like I said, that's kind of a little overkill. Each one of these guys could do it. So Andoris is going to do 100% uptime with positive charge. In fact, I got to test this now that I keep saying that. Mathematically, it should work out that way, but I want to make sure. So let's just speed through a couple turns here. Mosin, whatever, just skip. Skip, whatever, puts negative. So this should be the turn that it runs out. Right, so it'll run out on this turn. So she alts. She protects, she heal, but most importantly, she hug. That she does. Like I said, it's just so nice to have a character who's just not, not mean, not crazy, just normal. It's just so nice to be around normal people, whatever. So that was the turn she used it. So whatever, she'd do one more turn, whatever, she shoots him. I gotta be careful, I'm running out of turns here. So this is the turn her shield runs out, but positive charge does not. Right, so she would have this turn with positive charge, whatever, let's hit the boss. And then it would be back up. So next turn you could do it again. So she can have 100% uptime. I mean, I guess this between the end of this turn and the beginning of her next turn, so like during the opponent's turn, they won't have it, but whatever. I said with Jangyu on the team, you can kind of fill that gap if for some reason there's someone who does, like Leva does out of turn support attacks, for example, and like maybe for some weird reason you needed to cover that gap. But once again, just make sure that Andoris goes either before or after them to keep the buff up, just like Meech T, right? It's the same idea with Meech T, right? Have Pritya go, then have Meech T refresh the buff on everybody. Pritya, did I say? Yeah, Pritya. Or Klukai, same thing. So that's why I think these keys are the 3 auto includes, right? Because you want to keep positive charge up the whole time. So that would, without these keys, you would have to alt on the first turn, but that means you don't have your turrets down to put negative charge. But by running this key for positive charge, you essentially have alted before the battle started, right? Because you're going to get it for 3 turns. So the first turn you can do double turrets, which is the other key for 6 confectants. This one here. And then finally, the last key I think is kind of flexible, but right now it just puts the debuff on the enemy so that you can start healing right away. So once again, your first turn, I think it's double turret. We'll just put them right over here next to each other. And then she ends her turn, puts a bunch of negative charge on everything, and then the rest of the team just kind of goes ham. Everyone just does their own thing. Now, this is the question. On turn 2, you could immediately alt if you, for some reason, wanted Fortified Stance. So Fortified Stance is the weird one, where it's like you can't benefit from being in cover, which this is something I wanted to test, and of course, there's literally no cover on this map. You can't get the benefits of cover protection, which should be, that's referring to the 25 to 35% damage reduction you get depending on like the strength of the cover. So you can't benefit from the 20 to 35% damage reduction from being in cover. But I don't know if you can benefit from the stability damage reduction, right? The 60%. This is something I wanted to test. I'm going to guess no, because you need to be under the benefits of cover to get this 60%. And actually, now that I think about it, if you were to add all those numbers up, that would be more than 100% damage reduction, which would probably not make sense. I want to test that on someone who does more than 1 damage because I need to see a number not rounded up to 1 repeatedly. But yeah, for turn 2 here, it's like, I guess you could alt, but you could also use this a bit. This one's a flexible turn because he's still got not negative charge. He still got electro charge on him for one more turn because that was the second key. So this is like a freebie turn. You can kind of just do whatever you want, really. But we'll do this. This should put it back up to 2 turns, right? Yep. And so yeah, I mean now at this point it's just, continue to have fun. Because he's gonna have one more turn. Yeah, at this point we would just begin the cycle of alting. If a turret dies for some reason, you resummon it. Because she's gonna have lots of confectants. How does she get it? I think it's her passive, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Whenever she gets hit, which also shouldn't be just when she gets hit. It should be when she splits damage with her alt. Okay, so she's just gonna have a ton of confectants, so you'll probably never have to worry about not being able to summon the robots. That's pretty gangster, in my opinion. So yeah, it's just after turn 1, it's alt, and then just fill it in with streamlined tactics until you run out of turrets or they die somehow. You can resummon them, and yeah, just pretty chill. Let's see if I can find a map to actually test some stuff on. Yeah, she's like I said, really strong because she's doing everything you want. She really is one of those characters where it's like they just got it right. Like she applies the negative charge debuff to a billion enemies. She gives you 100% uptime on positive charge. So you've got the two most important like debuff / buffs of the electric team taken care of. And then she just does a really good job tanking damage for the team and healing the team, like keeping everyone alive. It's just 10 out of 10, like does exactly what you need her to do. And it's nice because it's all wrapped up in one kit. This is a struggle. There are no really tough enemies that I guess we can try it on this guy. He's not tough and he might die, but maybe if I just like don't attack him. So let's swap Xiaomi for Andoris. And I don't know, let's just swap. What do we even want on this team? I actually gonna put Xiaomi back in just because I want to see how shields interact with her all for goofy damage reduction. And then I don't know, who else is cool? Yeah, Nemesis. Most cracked Nemesis. You guys, I don't even know if you guys even care about this. Am I wasting my time? You guys aren't even gonna get this character. You should. I want to find this out for myself, and you guys get to hang out with me while I do it. Oh, yeah. Dude, I always forget about Faye Wooly. Oh, also because my Faye's not complete built. So we have negative charge. So I'm actually gonna not. Yeah, actually, I have to. Can the summons? No, I don't. I was gonna wonder if the turrets can benefit from cover damage reduction, but I kind of don't think it matters. Sure, you just hang out there. Oh, these things trigger. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Got to keep that in mind. These count as actual directed attacks, so they trigger things like Xiaomi's. That's actually kind of annoying because, like, for example, now they got the crit damage buff that Xiaomi puts on people, and someone like Nemesis, for example, now won't get it, which is sad. And then we'll just whatever. Everyone just hang out. Let's. So there are no buffs up. So Andoris has not got her fortified stance up. So this shouldn't be split damage with anybody, right? She's not splitting damage. This is literally just every man for themselves type deal. So let's slow it down here. Oh, really? Her cover died literally from one attack? That's so toxic, dude. Oh, that's nice. The boss actually will target these turrets too with abilities and stuff. So that I believe was closest target, or is it just random? Oh, lowest HP. Okay, yeah. So interesting. You can actually bait things out with these turrets. That's kind of comfy. Um. So let's. I'm gonna kind of. I mean, once again, this is a quote free turn in the rotation, but let's try and I'm gonna move Diane out of the way. She still got positive, which is why she healed there. So she had positive charge, and she ended 1, 2, 3 within Xiaomi, so that's why she healed. But I'm going to shift Xiaomi over here actually too. She's gonna heal too. And we're gonna have Andoris come to here. Actually, I'll just go Nemesis. Be the hero we know you can be. Oh, I got the slow animations and the alts on. Oh man. Okay, so she did. Did I misread that? I forgot how this works, right? I lied. Okay, so she doesn't have to have her alt up. It's not fortified stance that splits the damage. This is the one that this only does the hold. You can't be benefited from cover. It's the passive. As long as your team has positive charge, which once again, as long as you don't let it fall off, should be all the time. That's how she splits the damage. Which is why when Nemesis got hit there, it actually went a little bit on Andrews. Okay, that's nothing special. We'll just. I'm gonna purposely stand in this because I want to see if she benefits from cover with this up, and I don't really know how I'm gonna test that. Let's do in cover and then out of cover. These turrets, dude, they're going ham. We'll just skip Ulred's turn. So when this guy goes, let's see here. So that was 155. 232. I can always like rewatch this stream too and figure out these numbers. And 345. Okay, so let's rewind to the previous turn. Now let's do that same thing, but standing out in the open. Actually, let's go right. He's going to cleave this direction over here, so I want her to be in it. Yeah, well, the heal triggers on retaliations. I believe it's any time if you have positive charge, which is the buff, and they have negative charge. This is a little confusing. This is almost why I need to make a video just for myself. There's two things that heal you. Electric charge, which is not negative charge. This is a different debuff. This is the debuff that Andoris puts on from her streamlined tactics here. This one will heal you whenever you attack this guy with an electric attack. The other way to heal is ending your turn with positive charge next to a teammate who also has positive charge. I mean, you get 20% if you just exist, and then another 15 if they're next to you, if you have a teammate next to you. When attacking an enemy with negative charge, you increase the damage you do, but yeah, so this, if you're attacking someone with negative charge, you don't actually get extra healing, so the reason they're healing off retaliation attacks should be specifically because of this. Okay, and then we had to skip with Allred. Now let's see if I can remember those numbers. It was like 155, 232, and I think 355 or something. All right, so that was more damage, 232. No, I lied. He just did them in the opposite turn order for some reason. And then this one was like, what, 350 something? 181. Interesting. Willie says, I mean, I saw Nemesis get healed after the boss retaliation on Nemesis. Let's check that out real quick. You're talking about right here? Or are you talking about when the turrets... Let's do this. We'll just redo the turn real quick. So boss attacks Nemesis. 52 damage. So she... Oh, 671 there. What's that from? Is that from her passive? You're right. There is a way. I think that's just because she ended her turn with positive charge, because 20% of her HP is 600 HP ish, which is about how much it healed for, right? I think that's literally just because she ended her turn with positive charge. Let's now, real quick, we'll just do this again. Because when these turrets go, it's going to trigger her follow-up, and we'll see if that also heals her. Because this should not. She's not doing electric damage. Yeah, okay, so she's not getting healed from that. Okay, I couldn't see at the very end there, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened is when she did her attack on her turn, even though the boss retaliated against her, I think it didn't really have anything to do, you know how we can test? We just end her turn, right? Don't even attack the boss. If we just literally end turn, yeah, there it is, 671. So she's getting healed literally just because she has positive charge. I know it looked like the boss was retaliating her, but her turn just wasn't technically over yet, which is why it hadn't triggered. Yo, Ghost, what's going on, dude? Yeah, dude, we're just doing some testing with Andoris. Yeah, it's we're just kind of I'm trying to find some nuances in her how she works. The other interesting thing is I want to see this real quick before I say that. Yep, nothing fancy there. So the turrets don't get positive charge, which is interesting. It makes sense, right? They're kind of not really... They're allies, but they're not, like, you know, they're not real people. These don't get positive charge, even though she ulted there and they were on the field. The interesting thing is usually the characters don't go into the... This is the animation that they do when they're in cover, right? So even though she has her buff up, Fortified Stance, it says no longer benefits from the effects of cover protection. She's doing the animation as if she was getting cover protection. So that's why I'm a little confused. And I need to probably have a better testing method to figure out exactly how much damage reduction she's getting. Because I can't like, you know how like when you... Wait, can we? Can we? No, okay. We can only see... Yeah, you can only see his movement pattern and his like attack hitboxes. You can't see. I was like wondering if you could like click it to see like a preview. You know when you target them? Oops, somebody who's still alive. Like when you target them, you can see like the preview of what's going to happen. I was wondering if you could see the same way for him. Let's just skip this turn. Let's see this again. I want to see if these numbers changed. 239, 160. Yeah, it doesn't seem like these are any different than when she was standing on this side of the box. That was the same, and then this one should be the same too. Which I believe was what, 300? Yeah, 354. Okay, so even though she's like doing the animation, I'm pretty sure she's not giving the cover protection, right? Because that should be... Was this giving 35%? Plus Fortified Stance is 20. Let's pretend she had some stability left. 35 and 35, 70. And then I thought there was something... Oh, then her passive, sorry. So We're at 70% just from fortified stance, right? Because 35% from cover, plus 20 from this, plus 15 because he has an electric debuff on him. So that's 70. And then we get another... Where is it? Is it up here? No. Here we go, the very last sentence. If she's not protected by cover, she would expend 1 point of stability and reduce the damage by 20%. Now, that's not true in this case, so you wouldn't get another 20% on top of that. But even at 70%, if she was also getting the stability damage reduction, which now she isn't because she lost her stability, but obviously 70% plus 60% is 130% damage reduction, so there's no way that all stacks. Okay, I think we got to the bottom of this. This is some interesting nuances to the kit, but it's nice. She's kind of like, you don't even have to think about it, right? It's like you just literally place her wherever you want. She stands out in the open, and as long as you have stability to fuel her passive and stuff, it's like you can get some pretty solid damage reduction. I mean, it won't be as much as if you're in cover, but she's just not gonna die unless you like severely mess up. Man, what a stream, dude. What a stream. I mean, I wish I could do more, but there's nothing to do. We could do Diner Gate jump. I'm not very good at this game. What's my score? Can you guys beat my score? 9,720. Well, it's like I don't even play this game. I don't know what you're talking about. I appreciate you coming to hang out with us, even though you don't actively participate in the girls frontlining. I think we're kind of stopped for today. I mean, I don't know what else I want to do some work on some testing. I think I have to do, like I said, I almost have to do a positive negative charge guide just for myself to keep it all straight. And then I kind of want to work on an Andoris guide because, like I said, especially with the reworks to Zhengyu, people I think are going to be a little confused. This is the reason, in my opinion, you don't necessarily, if you're going to skip a character, I think you can skip poor Belka here. I mean, yes, I hate her because I always disliked her, but that's not the reason why I'm telling you that she's not needed. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. Lore. The reason I think she's kind of this is a crappy stage to test this out. She doesn't apply positive charge to the team. She only applies negative charge to enemies, as far as I'm aware. I couldn't find anything in her kit that talked about positive charge, unless I'm like missing some very weird nuance somewhere. But like, so when she does attacks and stuff, she, as usual, is very, very good. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to hit him over here just so he doesn't die. She is very good. So, see, like I said, she just throws negative charge on people like crazy. Shoot him again. There's like another... I think there's one more ability that adds negative charge. I want to say it's her ult. But she, as usual, is incredibly good at being mobile, teleporting around, and getting to objectives, which right now is not needed for anything, unfortunately. That's the real issue with oh, is this a ninja, dude? Dude, who is this guy? Is he gonna... Dude, I want to roll for this guy. What's up? Oh, dude, and he gets another attack? Dude, this guy's kind of cracked. Calm down, dude. Steiner Gate's like, bro, I want to have fun. Dude, who is this? Who is this mysterious warrior? I want him to be the next gotcha character. Come on, camera. Work with me here. Hell yeah, dude. Look at this. Next 5-star right there. Where's his sword? Let's take a look at his sword. Dude, I mean, they say that sword users aren't very good, but I just saw this guy. He's kind of going ham. He's got a sword. He's got a sword and a gun. That's why. That's the real trick. It's like, oh, don't just bring a sword. Yeah, but she's like really good at being super mobile and such, right? Like she can shoot this. I mean, I don't know. It's oh, that'll kill him. Okay, let's not do that then. You know, she could like teleport over here and just be obnoxious to catch, but unfortunately, there's just no content in the game that requires that type of character. So it's like she applies negative debuff, but she doesn't apply positive charge to your units, so you're only getting half of the package with her. And she doesn't do crazy damage, which, as we know, if you don't do crazy damage, if you're not first, you're last. If you're just doing okay damage, well, I'm sorry, but that doesn't make the cut. So it's eh, you know, that's just how it be. So Andoris she's like 3 different roles in one. She applies buffs, she applies debuffs, and she tanks like crazy for the team. Meanwhile, Belka only applies the debuffs and does like kind of okay-ish damage. So, sorry, Belka. I think you don't really make the cut, unless you're playing a different kind of game than me. Then there's a very important. Well, I guess there's probably like 2. Oh, well, here's it. How do I view these? Then in this case, there's like I think 2 very important reasons you need to get this character, but other than that, I don't foresee any long-term uses for her. God, these skins, dude. These skins. You know what? I'm just glad. You know what? Once again, I gotta contain myself because for every one mistake, there's a triumph. This skin's awesome. I'm gonna buy this in a few minutes here after stream. This is such a cool skin. More of this, Mika. More of this, please. I mean, yeah, sure, it doesn't technically fit the theme of the game. It's not like Cyberpunk, but it's just badass, dude. You're gonna do for like goofy, like non-lore related outfits. This is just A++. Keep it up. Yes, Paul. New Gunsmoke boss and drill next week. So, Paul, I'm probably gonna do. Oof, this is gonna be a packed weekend for me. Sunday, if I get a chance, I'm gonna try and do another because it's gonna be a brand new Gunsmoke boss. And no one's gonna know how to play it, including myself. I'm gonna try and hopefully do like a very quick crash course on like, here's how you use the segment 6 cluckers in your guild and get a decent score. I'm gonna try and do one of those like quick guides this weekend on Sunday, and hopefully I'm gonna get it out as like later that day so that people can kind of refer to just the basic boss mechanics. I haven't really looked too much into it, so I need to do some testing once the boss comes out. I'm sorry, I really struggle with like looking stuff up from the CN servers. Like I just really don't care about it until it comes to us and it's like current for our servers. I hate trying to like decode what I'm looking at in a different language. I much prefer to just test it out with myself because, like, you know, for example, testing out Andoris there, it's like, you know, it's like how do you try and pull that information from somebody else's video? It's like you got to be very specific on how you test stuff. Not that anyone seems to care because game's made for babies. But yes, Gunsmoke boss, I'll have a guide for that, and we'll probably do it on stream next week, and then we'll also do the expansion drill boss, which hopefully will be something a little more difficult than Berserker, who just kind of like dies. And then yeah, dude, it is gonna be rough for a lot of folks. But that's fine because once again, we have spots in the platoon still. So if anyone wants to get in on this fun, please let me know. But I'm okay with everyone struggling because we were barely top 5% this time because we had so many inactive people who missed. So I'm hoping the rest of the server is real casual. Got to keep that 5%. Okay, well, I think that's going to be enough for us today. Thanks for coming out and listening to me spiel about news for 30 minutes, and then I love how I talked about news for like so long, and then the gambling was over like that. It was just like, show up, do 20 polls, cool, we're done. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I have a lot of fun. Like I said, the future looks bright. You know, just gotta keep huffing that hopium. And yeah, we'll catch you guys all next week. And as I said, look out for the channel over the weekend. I'll put some guides out. You guys can, like, say things in the comments like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or lol, took 7 turns to kill the boss. Lamau. So anyway, you guys have a good one, and I will catch you guys next week. And anyone who watches this in the future, I appreciate you guys as well. So thanks, everyone, and see you later. Oh, that's right. Are we going to do a 9/11 special? Forgot about that. Ooh, stay tuned. See ya.